Hello everybody, Eric of Solobox. So I thought I'd show you really quick what it's like to try to develop a frame for a new bike. So it's actually quite a bit of effort and things that I've learned. I've probably developed frames for maybe 10 different bikes over the years. And I've definitely learned some secrets to success with how to get that done. One thing you want to try to strive for is that you don't want people to have to modify their bike in order for this to work. And you also, you have to take into account that there's sometimes other aftermarket parts that, you know, are my frames going to work with the other stuff that they might have on their bike. As for instance, a lot of these guys that ride these CRFs have a rear rack, and that generally is attached at this point here where I need to use. And so what I've done here is I built 1-inch spacers. I turned these up on the lathe rather than having my frame directly attach up in here. I put a spacer here, which is, I'm going to guess, pretty close to what they're using to get those things to come off of here and have that rack back here. So trying to think ahead in regards to things like that, because if I was to do it the other way, basically my frames wouldn't be able to be used. I'm gonna stop this. It's kind of annoying. My frames may not be able to be used if somebody has other aftermarket things. You know, are they going to work with an aftermarket pipe? Did I leave enough room? So a lot of times what I'm trying to get is I want a balance between left and right. The right-hand side of almost every bike on the market is going to have the exhaust on it. Some bikes have it on the left, but either way, most bikes do not. It's not equal on both sides. So I'm trying to strike a happy medium. Honda didn't do me any favors here with this. This bike's really wide in the rear. Actually, I had this sticking out about an extra 1/4 inch that I was able to lop off. What I'm looking for here is enough space that the mounting puck has got to fit through here. Obviously, I can't be up against this, so I leave a little bit of extra room. Did the same thing over here. I had planned on taking the toolbox off and keeping this side tucked up a bit closer, but it ends up looking it looks lopsided if I do it that way. So I did tuck it up a little bit closer on this side than that, but I want it to, once again, I want it to be balanced. So one thing that I'm looking for with this that's really important is knowing what this overall width is between here and here so that I can try to keep everything square. See, I have to build a rear crossbar that's going to connect at the rear corners on both sides, and I still need to come up with a mounting for the front of each side. I think I'm going to go to here. I'll be coming down, but I need to maintain between the two pieces of the frame, between here and that piece over there. It turns out that it's about 510 millimeters, so I want it to be 510 between here and here, 510 here and here, 510 up here at the top, so that they're nice and square. I'm really kind of weird about symmetry, and so I want them to sit as square as to what I can possibly get them. And one thing I've learned over the years, in order to get them square, is you figure out that number between here and here at the attachment points. If you really look at this, it's kind of sagging just slightly, but that'll hopefully get picked back up when I make these attachment points. See, it's cocked. So I want that same 510. So over here, I'm working on what's going to be the rear crossbar. And basically how I'm doing that is by welding pieces directly to the table that have my, I gave myself a little mock-up of what it is I need. So I need 510 between to the outside, and then it looks like I need about 11.5 inches in between, coming back to about here where there'll be a bar. And so the best way of making sure that this comes out correctly, instead of trying to build this to the bike, which I've done in the past, which is really time consuming, it's just a lot easier just to tack weld stuff straight onto the bench. This is tacked on, and then I'll figure out the angles for the bars. And after I get everything welded up, I'll cut these tacks really quick, lift the whole thing off, final weld it, and then take it over here and see how well it fits. So anyway, I just want to show you really quick a little bit of what goes into trying to figure that out. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and do a jig for this bike. You can see I've got jigs up here. I do a lot of KLRs and a lot of V-Stroms, but other bikes haven't proven to be very popular. I sort of assume that this one will probably be the same. So I just don't know if there's a market for it or not, but I know I'm going to have really sweet luggage on my bike, that's for sure. So anyway, Eric with Solo Box, I'll talk to y'all later.